So welcome, welcome, welcome. We just danced to the Glee version of Don't Stop Believing. And let me tell you something. So I explained, I shared with you that I spent some time studying mindfulness at UCLA and looking at the brain. Can I tell you something amazing? What they found is that the thing that lights up most in the brain, right? What feeling, what emotion? Is it joy? Is it love? Is it hate? Is it anger? Is it compassion? What lights up the strongest in the brain? Take a guess. Margaret's guessing it's joy. What do you think it is? Janelle says that it's love. What is the answer, do you think? The answer is enthusiasm. Enthusiasm. Why? Enthusiasm is the level of joy which is so strong that it actually spills over into enthusiasm. What does that mean? It means you become evangelical of your happiness, right? Have you ever met somebody who doesn't just like Bruce Springsteen? They're obsessed with Bruce Springsteen. Have you ever met somebody who doesn't just like the Brady Bunch? They're obsessed with the Brady Bunch. And all of a sudden you think you've become obsessed with it just listening to them talk, because enthusiasm is contagious. It is such a high vibration that it pulls everybody in, right? So if you're in a room with a bunch of people whose energy is kind of meh, and somebody comes in and they're so enthusiastic, they're like, you have to go see this movie, or you have to go eat at this restaurant, and you won't believe the meatballs they make, and you're just like, I'm going, I'm in, all right, I get it, right? So every single day, we talked about this yesterday, where is your energy at, right? Your energy has the capacity to be enthusiastic. That's not just okay. That's not just, it's beyond. It goes somewhere beyond. And that beyond takes other people with you. And so what we want to learn to do is to become masters of our own vibration so that we can move the world, right? We can move the world. And what has been the tale as old as time is that you cannot outsource your energy, right? You cannot leave it up to chance that you are going to decide how you feel based upon what's happening around you. That is a loser's bet. That is not how we are designed. We're not designed that way. We are designed to have our own way of plugging in to our own Wi-Fi, to our own divinity, to our own stream. And when we do that, we become like a Wi-Fi pong for other people. We bounce other people into the stream. They remember what's within them. They stop outsourcing their own well-being to what's outside of them. Who would do that, right? If you really think about how silly it is, so many people, they wake up in the morning and instead of deciding, right, how they want to feel, they just give it all away. And then they get on the freeway and somebody cuts them off and then they become reactive. And it's like such a horrible way to live your life, right? But you have the power to direct your focus, and what you focus on expands. And then from there, you don't get so distracted, right? And then it builds on itself. It compounds and it gets stronger and stronger until you become a force field. Hang on, gotta just mute this person. And one way to think about it, people say a lot of times, they'll say, well, I need to learn how to protect my energy. You ever heard that? So I want to turn that around for you. That's not really the highest vibe out there, right? The highest vibe is I want to learn how to project my energy, right? If you think about someone like the Dalai Lama, do you think he's ever in a moment where he's like, I have to protect my energy? No, because he's such a force. He's just going to project his energy everywhere. He's going to decide the equilibrium of the room, right? He's not worried about what's outside of him affecting him because he has practiced focusing his attention so much that he knows how to project his own energy. So if the Dalai Lama went to the DMV, you think he's easily rattled? No, he'll just create a whole elevated consciousness at the DMV. If he's in the 405 traffic jam, you think he's rattled? No, it's not the point, right? The point is we become awake, we become conscious, and we start to project our energy, and we start to make magical things happen in our world, right? And that's why I always say the best compliment that someone can give you is, you have amazing energy. Okay, so I want you to do an exercise with me. You can take out a pen or pencil. I have crayons on my desk because I have kids. And I'll tell you, it doesn't matter how many pens I've ever bought, they don't wind up staying on my desk. But what winds up on my desk is crayons and scrunchies and all kinds of things that it's just hilarious. So anyways, take a pen and paper and take your piece of paper. We're going to practice something for a second. Okay. We're going to practice sort of the way that we can look at manifesting in our life. Okay. So now you got a pen and paper? Type a 1 in the chat if you have a pen and paper. I still have the song in my head. Don't stop believing. All right, so you're going to take this paper, and now I want you to draw a circle in the middle, and then you're going to draw lines like this. I'll show you. Hang on. You're going to draw lines like this. So I drew a circle. It's kind of like the sun. You draw a circle, and then you draw lines coming off of it. Okay? Just do that. Do that much. And then once you do that, let me know once you do that. Okay. Okay. Now in the middle of your circle, you're going to write something that you want to manifest. So I wrote the word home, right? Because we sold our house during COVID. Then we moved to Florida for a year. And we sold that house now, and now we've been renting, looking for where's our next place to buy. So I wrote down the word home, like in the middle of my sun. Okay. So write down whatever you want. It could be $1 million. It could be a relationship. It could be a vacation. Tell me when you're ready. And then if you don't mind, put in the chat what you wrote in the middle of the circle. Is it a relationship? Is it a house? Is it money? Is it health? What do you want to put in the middle of the circle that you would like to create, that you would like to see manifested in your life? Money, career, wealth, $1 million, money, purposeful career, debt-free, paying coaching clients, so your business, a trip with girlfriends, financial freedom, a job, an art studio. Okay, cool. So now what I want you to do is on these lines, I want you to describe the feeling, that how you want that to feel. So what would you write down? Do you want to feel free? Do you want to feel abundant? Do you want to feel what does it feel like? How describe why you want that and how it makes you feel. So if I wrote the word home, I might write peaceful. If I write the word home, I might write cozy, right? So do you get the point? So go ahead and write the words. Okay. Write the words of how it feels. So peaceful, cozy. I'm just writing my words. What else does home feel like? Just describe it as best as you can. Okay, so take like 30 more seconds. So I know how counterintuitive it is based upon how we're taught to see the world. But I can tell you that having sat with, we've done over 800 episodes, and having sat with authors, athletes, actors, chefs, mathematicians, musicians, like having sat with some of the expert, brilliant minds across all different industries, fashion, makeup, like business, I can tell you that it's all the juice and the real tools to build things are not what they teach you in school. It's not what you've been taught. In fact, I did an episode once that Apple featured called What They Don't Teach You in School. What we now understand, the way that we are taught from a long line of since we were young, we're not taught how to think. We're taught what to think. And if you read about successful people, there's a common thread to these outliers. And we are so bought into a certain paradigm that we don't see all of the answers that are all hidden in plain sight. They're hidden in plain sight because it's so much more simple. I'll give you an example because I had Guy Kawasaki on the podcast, who used to be one of the executives at Apple. Why is Apple so successful? Like so successful that you should probably have another word for it other than successful, because it's the most successful company, bar none, in history. It's beyond successful. There's no measurement. It's like saying Wayne Gretzky is number one in hockey. We'll talk about him in a second. Who's number two? Well, you could give me a number two, but that person's nowhere close. So is it really number two, or should we just say Wayne Gretzky's in a class of his own for hockey? We should probably just say he's in a different league because it doesn't even compute. It's not like he's here and the number two is like, with Michael Phelps, there's like swimmers that are like right behind him by milliseconds. There's certain people who there is nothing right behind them, right? They're so out of the box. So let's just talk about Apple for a second, and then I'll mention something about Wayne Gretzky. But with Apple, what do you notice about the brand for a second? What do you notice about Apple that's different? What's different about Apple than other brands? Just as a case study for a second. It's pretty, it's easy to use, innovative design. So Carrie just said it, Christy just said it. It's so simple, right? In fact, when back in the days where we all used to watch television in real time, now, of course, most people watch content on their phones, but we used to watch TV and there used to not be streaming. And so if you wanted to watch Friends, you'd have to watch it on Thursday night or else you missed the episode, right? And if you wanted to watch Growing Pains, you had to watch it or else you didn't get to see it. There wasn't even a way to go see it. Now we can sort of find things, right? Back in those days when Apple was creating commercials, what was different about the Apple commercials? What was different? It was just a white screen, just a white box. there was nothing happening, right? This screen would be white, and then the human being would walk on and go, hi, this is Apple, right? So what was that about? That was about them making a huge quantum leap decision. And the decision was, do you notice that they call things iPhone, iMac, iPad? Notice that? So who is the star of the show? You. It's about you. It's an iPad. It's an iMac. It's about me, right? It's about you, the customer. So when somebody walks into an Apple store, what color are the walls? White. What's the point? The point is that Apple is saying, you're the star of the show. We're going to create the space for you. You become an artist. You make your own film. You write your own script. You. Why am I using this example? Because it's so obvious that it's hidden in plain sight. On some level or another, every brand is trying to show you to look over here, to impress you with this, to impress you with that. And Apple's like, how about it's a you? How about it's you? How about everything we're trying to say is the most important thing here is you picking up this tool so that you express your gifts, you share your artistry, you make your own beats, you make your own music, you make your own, take your own photos, you use this device to bring out you and your strength and your magic. Do you get it? And people can feel that. When people buy Apple products, it's a very different decision they're making than when they buy any kind of other computer product. All those other products are about the utility of using those products and why they perform well and what the speed is. That's not why people buy Apple products. People buy Apple products because Apple has done something significant, which is to convince every Apple user that they actually are creative, that you actually have creativity inside of you and you're a genius. You are the genius. You are creative and you just haven't tapped into your creativity. So I say this because what I teach you, whether you're going to join the quilt, whether you're going to join one of my programs made to do this, and we'll talk about that later, how you can do all those things, which you should be doing. If this feels like it's giving you life, then stay with that. But what we're teaching you is how simple it is and how you don't need to run around. You know, some people, when they teach people business, they talk to you about all the things you need to learn to do. You need to build an email list of 50,000 names. You need to make sure you know this. You need to get your copy right. You need to get your website right, right? That's not how I built a business. We have almost 50 million downloads of the podcast. I don't know shit about online marketing the way that other people do. I don't know how to teach those things because what I'm working on is how do you actually skip all of that and create intimacy with human beings? How do you build an entire platform based on radical empathy? How do you use the laws of energy and manifestation and creativity to take the most simple step because it's hidden in plain sight? And then you don't have to be part of the noise where everybody else lives. And that's what we're talking about. And I mentioned, and then I'll talk about this thing you made. I mentioned Wayne Gretzky. So I heard Wayne Gretzky speak a few years ago. It was my husband's birthday, and there was this event, and he was speaking, and he was actually speaking with Sir Ken Robinson, who passed away, who is an incredible human being who did an amazing TED Talk on creativity and how education needs to be changed so that we teach kids how to be masters of their own creative, innovative lives. They were both there. And Wayne Gretzky said that when he was a kid, he started playing every sport. And when he was playing hockey, he would watch the game when he wasn't in it. And he would take a pencil and he would take a piece of paper and he would just draw where the puck was. And at the end of the game, he would look at a sheet of paper and he would see where there were more lines on the piece of paper. And his coach would give him all these ideas and tell him where to go and what to do. And his father said, don't listen to the coach. Just trust what you know. And so he would sit there with a piece of paper and he would take out a pencil, and he noticed that over time, the puck always hung out in a certain part of the ice, and he would always be there. And didn't matter what the coach said, he always knew where the puck was going to be because he was studying where the puck was. And he said it was the most simple thing that nobody believed that it could work. And so over the years, he just got in trouble all the time with the coaches. They would round everybody up and tell them what the play was going to be and where people should stand. And he's like, all right, I'm not going to listen. And he would just wind up every time near the puck, every time, over and over and over and over and over again, to the point where he is the greatest hockey player of all time. And he and Sir Ken Robinson were talking about how the answer is always the simplest answer. It's always so obvious. But what we've done is we've wired our brains into thinking that things are hard. And so then we make them hard. In fact, we don't even feel satisfaction thinking about the easy answer because we've wired ourselves into thinking that we only even deserve to have the satisfaction once we've made it hard. And once it's hard and then we earn it, we feel like that's the only way that we deserve to feel this sense of gratification. But really, the way that the world, the way the universe is designed, the universe is abundant. It's not even net neutral, it's net positive. Everything is actually constantly working towards healing and wholeness and abundance. That is the way the universe works. I said this earlier, but I just posted a clip from the interview I did with Deepak Chopra, and he said that the world is so abundant that every acorn is the promise of thousands of forests, and our body produces trillions and trillions of cells, and those cells, whether you know them or not, are actually tracking the circadian rhythms of the moon and the stars and the planets while you walk around eating breakfast and while you sleep. That's how connected, that's how abundant, that's how unbelievable the universe is. And in this world, it is all magnetic, it is all energetic. And while people sit here and they think that they have to learn so much about strategy, your greatest strategy is your energy. If the world is actually made and 3D printed from energy, if energy creates matter, if energy is what actually creates, then the way we manifest is by making sure that our attention, our energetic, all the different energy centers of who we are tapped in, turned on, and the lights are just beaming. So when I had you do this little ideal scene, it's called, right? So I wrote the word home, and on the little lines, I wrote peaceful, cozy, settled, loving, connected to nature, connected to gathering, intimacy, right? So just like Wayne Gretzky with the puck, if I want to create this home, I have to embody this energy. With my energy, I need to embody settled, cozy, peaceful, connected in nature, loving, intimacy, right? And when that is actually something that I am actually resonant for, then those things are not any longer outside of me, right? Sometimes when we use the word desire, every time we say it, we're pushing it further and further away, because by saying it, what we're implying is that we desire it because we don't have it, because it isn't who we are already. But we don't get what we desire. We don't get what we want. We get what we are. And so when you become a conduit for this wholeness, when you are abundant, when your energy is so abundant because you have a flow of creative ideas, you have a flow of enthusiasm, then abundance won't miss you. It'll be all around you because you are a mirror image for that. Type a 1 in the chat if you get that. So I want you to feel into all these things that you wrote down, all the things that makes you feel peaceful, cozy, whatever you wrote down. And see if in your energy, close your eyes for a second and see if in your energy, you can think of 3 of the things that you wrote down. And where can you turn the volume up on that resonance inside of you? How could you turn up the volume on the part of you that has that quality? How could you turn up the volume and feel into you at your center. And so let's do a little meditation together. Let's see if we can start to find how to access our true self with a capital S, the true self, right? We are not our minds. We are not our bodies. Our bodies have changed a zillion times since we're 2, since we're 10. Our body is a process. It changes. You're not your body. Your body's constantly changing. So which body are you? You're not your body. Your mind is constantly changing, right? You're not your mind. There's a part of you, an essential you, that was you since conception. It's the essence of you. It is the part of you that is connected to all that is. And so I want you to take a few deep breaths. And when we breathe in, let us breathe out longer than we breathe in. Because as you breathe out longer, it signals your nervous system to calm down. It tells your body that in this moment, it is safe to repair. It is safe to create. It is safe to restore. So take a deep breath in and out. And again. And now I want you to just notice your sit bones. Which one do you feel more, the right or the left? There's no right answer. See if you can drop in so that your chair holds you fully, so that you're equally weighted, distributed fully on both sides of you. Just allow the earth to hold your weight. And now I want you to just notice that your mind is going to keep moving. That's what minds do. Just like hearts beat, minds will wander nonstop. And you don't have to shut off your mind. You just want to notice it. Just notice. Notice if your mind is agitated, if it's excited, with no judgment. Just notice the mind. And now notice that you are the awareness that's noticing your mind. And this part of you that is this awareness is bigger than your mind. And I want you to now feel how this part of you is connected. It is connected to the infinite, is connected to the divine. It's a part of you that's bigger than your name, bigger than your body, bigger than your thoughts. And this part of you has an endless capacity for creativity. This part of you has a giant capacity to receive. This part of you has a capacity to be a witness, to have compassion. This part of you is powerful. And it has an alignment. And it knows how to move out of the fear and into how you were meant to live your life, to create a better world, to use your energy, use your intention. And this part of you can see so much further. You can feel where you are in this infinite field. You can feel where you are. You can put your awareness on the space between your left shoulder and the room. You can feel there's energy all around you, in front of you, around you, behind you, above you. And there's a part of you that is energy, that is sort of casting an imprint into this energy all around you. And let's turn on and let's open up the energy in your heart. Just open that energy up more. So you feel your heart open, just receiving love, giving love. Feel how it feels to open up that energy, just to be aware. And then you move up to your throat and just feel that that part of you is designed to open up to speak words of love and truth and insight. And then we move up to our forehead, to this part of us that has the capacity to expand our awareness, to see reality as it actually is. And as Einstein said, the world is not three-dimensional. It's actually made of 10 dimensions, and many of them we don't see with our eyes, but with our eyes closed, we can perceive reality as it actually is, infinite, potent, and we can feel connected to the stream. We are no longer feeling separate. We're feeling this feeling that our energy is connected to all that is. And let us just have an inquiry, this part of us that is bigger than our thoughts. And if your thoughts are wandering, you can just notice them without judgment. That's what thoughts do. And you can just gently bring your attention back to the part of you that's a witness and just notice. And just with curiosity, just ask your greatest intuition, your highest self, what did you come here for? What is the gift you are meant to give to the world? What is this destiny that you were meant to live? If you were playing from alignment, what is this future that you came to create for yourself and for the world around you? And now let's actually connect to this whole incredible universe. And let's ask that we are met with synchronicity today. That before the end of the day, there's clues and synchronicity that our alignment, that if we choose our alignment, that we will be met. That this river will be guided as it's meant to go. And we'll be reminded to do this again and again, to keep aligning with what is true, what is real, how vast, how amazing this world is, and what role we have in it. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And just starting to notice how it feels to connect, how it feels to go beyond the mind, the swirling mind that lulls us to sleep, that turns off all of our capacities to create, to feel, to breathe into all that exists. Just start to notice that. If you've ever noticed that when you pray or you meditate or you make a wish on a candle, on a cake, you always close your eyes. And there's a reason for that, because we see so much further with our eyes closed than with our eyes open. We can perceive so much more of what's actually here in the world. And this world is a world of energy, and it's infinite. And the more that we are tuning our own instrument, the more that we will play beautiful music, and the more that the broadcast will get better and better. So does anybody feel like raising their hands or asking a question or playing with any of this? We are here to answer questions. And you can tell us in the chat right now, what do you notice without judgment? What comes up for you when you have a moment where you stop the chatter in your head? What do you notice? what comes up? Peace, love, infinite, quietness. Things seem possible. Yeah. So I'm just going to show you this for a second. And I wish that I had, let's see if I can write it in this color. So I wrote this down. I don't have like the best handwriting, but basically this says beliefs, what we believe, what we perceive, it determines what action we take, what we do, right? And the action is the sum total of what we're thinking and believing, right? And then this creates, this word is results, the results of our life, what it looks like, right? And so the more that we start to change the virtual reality headset and we start perceiving the world as it actually is, which is always expanding and infinite, then we see more of what's actually here. And the more we see what's here, the more we start to feel how magical, how sacred, how special, how loving this world is. And then we start to feel and perceive our connection to that. The more we start to feel ourselves as not these separate little things that measure ourselves by our story, our grades, our follower count, how many dollars we have in our bank account, but the more we start to feel ourselves as a beingness, as a force, the more we start to feel our relationship to the world as it is. And then what happens? We live a different life. We think and feel differently, which means we respond differently, which means we cast a different imprint energetically. We have a different energetic signature, which means the world then responds differently to us. All day long, I say this a lot, but this is my phone. What sees better, the camera on my phone or me? Type it in the chat. Yes, you're right. The phone sees better. Why? Because the phone takes a picture with the camera. The phone takes a picture of what is. We don't do that. We project onto reality based on what we believe. So we all live in a virtual reality. Two people can be sitting on the same bench in Central Park, and one person has a story. And so they project onto the world how everybody's selfish and the world and things are dirty and whatever. And somebody else is sitting there and has a perspective of gratitude and has a perspective of never having been to New York City and being so in love with fall and whatever it is. And they're just sitting there looking at the exact same park, seeing two different things. We don't see what is. We see what we're willing to see. We don't see what is. We see what we choose to see. We don't see what is. But the more you come out of the mind's projection room, it's a movie, the more you start to see things as they actually are. Right? The reason people start meditating, the reason Ram Dass got into meditation is because he said if he would do mushrooms or something like that, he would love the experience because mushrooms give you tons of serotonin, which opens your perspective. So it allows you to have an expanded sense of what's here. And so you start to see only love. That's all people see when they're on mushrooms, is all they see is oneness and love, which is true. That's always here. But then he said he didn't want to keep coming down from the trip. So he wanted to find a way to stay in that all the time. So he started a meditation practice, and then he realized he started to see the world all the time as it actually is, which is this infinite oneness, that everything is magical, that everything is always working to serve us. You don't get what you want in life. You get what you expect every single day. And so when it comes to creating more abundance in your life, when it comes to creating what you really are here to create, the thing you think is the list of what you want, you have such bigger dreams than that. You actually don't even want a big pile of things. You want so much more than that. You know what you really want? You want to feel unleashed. You want to feel like you live your potential. You want to feel like you are the most creative, genius version of yourself, period, end of story. What you really want is to utilize, right? And I said this earlier in the VIP room. If somebody were to come along and give you a check for $50 million, give you every single thing that you think you want, in 10 days or 10 months or 10 years, you'd be so bored out of your mind because you don't actually want that. What you actually want is to play fully with your energy, to have a sense that everything all the time, you can see it as it is. You feel this internal sense of peace and bliss, and your energy is generous, and your energy is enthusiastic, and your energy is projected constantly, and it loves other people into life. That is what you want. And what I'm telling you is, when you are in flow, you become an overflow. And when you are in flow and you are generous and you are in this high vibe, it can't miss you. Of course, you're going to wind up having all the things then that you have the capacity to receive. And you will have a beautiful set of things, but you'll be so high and so full that those things will only become a vehicle for you to do more good, because that's what you really want. And so all day long, we literally are asleep. We have a list of the things that we want. We tell ourselves we can't have them anyway. We tell ourselves our lives are deficient without them, and none of it's true. The only deficiency you feel is the deficiency in your energy. The only thing that makes you feel low is when your energy is low. If you were feeling grateful, if you were feeling authentic, if you were feeling creative, if you were feeling like you were contributing every day, you'll be in a high vibe. And then you have a real understanding of what you're after. And of course, you can create abundance, because when you are abundance, you create abundance. When you are the kind of person who everyone, wherever you go, says you have great energy, just watch the opportunities that come to you. And then you have to be in this position where you just decide which one you want, because everywhere all day long, people are going to say, you should have this. You should have this. Do you want to work with me on this? Collaborate, 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 collaborate. Your very energy alone is the most powerful thing you offer in a room. And when your energy is open-hearted, creative, relaxed, at ease, when your energy is so loving that it's making other people feel seen and heard, and you yourself are giving people the ability to perceive further, to see a greater reality than they saw before, they want you around. Next thing you know, you're going to be given every single opportunity possible, and you're just going to keep heading for the horizon, because you didn't come for a pile of things. It's not interesting. You came to be your greatest, most powerful, most potent self. And so this is it. You know, this is it. We talked about this earlier on the VIP room, but I asked people, what do you think is the most powerful thing that lights up in the brain? And it's enthusiasm. It's not even joy. It's not love. It's not hate. It's enthusiasm, because enthusiasm is contagious. You want to feel a sense of equanimity. You want to feel full. You know, on my podcast, this guy, Rick Hansen, came on and he told this story. It's a Tibetan proverb about the ghosts with the insatiable bellies. And he said, these ghosts live in a hell realm because they're never satisfied, and they keep breathing and drinking in through a straw. And he said, most people, there is no enough, because that pile of things, they want the next pile. and the next pile and the next pile. It's not enough ever when that's what you're after. But when you feel enough right now, because right in this moment, you can direct your focus, you can direct your energy to feel full, to turn on, and to feel connected to love and the infinite. And you feel this feeling that you're connected to all things, and you feel this power that you have, that by the end of the day, you could impact 3 people in a massive way, where next thing you know, they're like, I don't know why, but that was the most amazing encounter. I feel something happen, right? My heart just cracked open. All day long, we're being given opportunities to turn on our capacity to give and to create. And next thing you know, you're just going to be led to so much synchronicity. It won't stop. So I didn't know I was going to start a podcast. I just took that next right half step. I started writing music, and that music led me into rooms with the head of Disney soundtracks and the head of Target. And I started writing music for all this stuff. And then people would say, you should do this, and you should do that. And next thing I know, someone's like, you should start a podcast. I was like, okay. She's like, and I know somebody who sells the ads for podcasting. You should meet with her. And then I meet with her. She's like, you have great energy, and let's start a podcast. And I start it's like, there's no end to creativity, right? There's just no end. And within a month starting the podcast, I get a call from Simon, and she's like, you should have a book. I'm like, I don't know the first thing about writing a book. I was a C student. I can't even write an essay. Great. You should write a book. Let's just take the transcripts of your show. It's so good. Great. Now you have a book deal. Now you have a second book deal. You should come speak for us. You should come do this. Why? All these people run circles around me in terms of their grades and in terms of where they went to college. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares. People care that when you walk into a room, your energy is so coherent that you give them their own capacity to think better ideas. People want to be around people who are so net positive that it tips them into positivity. It moves them into innovation. It moves them into creation. So this is what we teach. This is what we do in this program, in the programs that I teach. I want to just give you guys an update so that you know, if you want to stay in this, if you want to work with me, I want to tell you how that is possible in this moment. So we have weekly, we meet in this membership called the Quilt. I created the Quilt because it's about a common thread that ties all these unique patches together. And it's a phenomenal experience where you're going to have this connection, not just to me, but to each other. And we're going to work on meditation. We're going to work on manifestation, and we're going to work on getting you to your next level. And you're also going to be able to collaborate with each other and have that referral network and have that accountability. I mentioned earlier that what we're going to do, since we're going into the new year quite literally, is on every single call, we're going to be talking about counting down to the new year and everyone taking one brave step on every call. Literally one brave step. Whatever it is that you know that you need to do in this moment to show up in your fullest and to take that next inspired action, we're going to do that on every call to track it so that we take weeks of inspired, steady, deliberate action to be ready for being ready in the new year. That's available. And we created a code for you guys to make it even easier for you to join it. So you can use the code thread and join cathyheller.com/join. And then you get your initiation fee waived and you get a 25% discount. So get in there. The other thing, just so you know, is some of you wanted to be a part of Made to Do This, which is a program where at the end of this program, you are doing what you were made to do. What we decided to do is those people who sign up for Made to Do This are getting 3 months free of the quilt. And you can start watching the curriculum on the recordings for Made to Do This. But we'll actually start the extra live calls in January because so many people were worried about how to juggle the quilt with the holidays, with the curriculum. It was just a lot going on between Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's. So if you want, you actually are getting 3 months extra of me, because if you join Made to Do This, you get to be in the quilt for the next 3 months. And then the program begins in January and you get those 3 months. So if you want that, you can go to cathyheller.com/made to do this. And those are the 2 options. So you can either go right into the quilt and hang out with us every week. Our next call is on Thursday. And I think that that's a really good option for some of you because it will give you a chance to start getting clarity around, what does all this mean to you? Where do you really need to be to become a manifestor in your life, to start seeing these things, just things that are already here, hidden in plain sight, just come into your reality? What are the things that you need clarity around how you want to contribute to the world? What are your skills? How are you going to really hone and harness what's within you. So we're going to be working on that on those quilt calls. We work on that anyway. There's hot seats, there's coaching. You're going to love that. And for some of you, it might be better for you to jump into Made to Do This, because then you can start watching the curriculum slowly, and you can know that we're going to pace it out. And we moved the actual live curriculum calls to the end of January so people didn't have to feel overwhelmed. So I'm curious I want to know which one is feeling more like the right thing for you. So you can write in the chat the word quilt or the word Made to Do This, so we can get a sense. If you have any questions about that, of course, you can post your questions here. But we are looking forward to spending that time. And if you're an alumni, you have an even better discount for both those programs. So you should write in so that you can get your answer. So, and also, just so you know, the point of Made to Do This for the basic level, the gold level, which is like really juicy, it's to help you figure out what your thing is, and then have you go from idea to that income, from passion to prosperity. If you're in the VIP level, it's about scaling that, right? It's that you already know, but you want to grow it. So if you don't yet know, that's what this program is for, because come hell or high water, I'm going to help you figure out what you came to the world to do. So that's what that's about. So if you join Made to Do This, just so you're not confused, we pushed off those extra live calls, and we're putting you in 3 months of the quilt so that you can start watching the curriculum and you can be a part of the quilt. And then the active live components of those calls will take place after the holidays, so you don't have to juggle it all. So there you go. And if you're in the quilt, then you can just start simmering and getting into all of this before we get to the new year. So you'll be ready for the new year. Some people say to me, well, I don't know, I worry that I can't afford it. And I say, I feel quite honestly, like, because this work is so powerful, I don't know how anyone can afford not to do it in some way, shape, or form. And so I tried to create the thing that I think is going to give you all the extras that you need. So it's not just the energy, it's not just meditation, it's not just the coaching, but it's the kind of community that will literally link arms with you and help you across this ocean. And I don't know how we can be siloed and not have this coaching, this training, this meditation, these tools, all of these tools. I try to treat the whole woman, the whole entrepreneur, right? The body, the mind, and the spirit, so that you can take the right action because you're fully awake and fully alive and fully alert. And it's interesting with moms, because I know that so often, if our kids want something, we don't even think about it. Your kid wants tennis lessons, you figure it out. My kid's gymnastics class in a group class is $45 a class. They go every single week. Okay. I have 3 kids. Do you know how much money I spend on gymnastics? Do I think it's because they're going to become an Olympic gymnast? Not even a little bit. They just want to do it. So we figure it out. When I had a single mom, and I did, and she wanted me to take piano lessons, she figured it out somehow, some way. She figured it out so I could take piano lessons. I don't even play piano anymore, but she wanted me to learn it. When it's for us, we just say, I can't figure it out. But if it's for our kids, we do it. But if it's investing in ourselves, in our own passion, in our own investing of what we came to the world to do, can't do it. Because we're just in the momentum of, we don't spend money on that. It has to be for someone else. It has to be for a new set of pots and pans to make Thanksgiving dinner. But what about yourself? What about you? What about you being tapped in, turned on, seeing differently, feeling differently, behaving differently, and taking action? Each one of you should be creating a platform. We live in a world where it used to be that in order to make money, in order to have anything stable, you had to go work for someone else, build someone else's dream. Now, everyone has a smartphone, which means on the other side of a click of a button, you could create a community of women who love to scrapbook just like you. You could create a community of people who want to have different kinds of conversations or buy from your Etsy shop, like the customers on the other side of a click of your phone. And it's about learning not how to do everything, but how to do a couple things well. So you create intimacy and engagement with human beings. And next thing you know, you're enjoying your life. You're feeling so excited every single day, building something that feels like you would do it anyway for free, but you're getting paid to do something you love to do. So I'm excited for those of you who are excited. So today is Tuesday. So the VIPers, you guys were with me all last week and yesterday and today. And tomorrow is our last day of this entire workshop. Tomorrow's our last day. And so tomorrow we're going to invite everybody to come at 9 o'clock. So we're going to have 2 hours with everybody, the whole group, everybody, VIP or not, starting tomorrow at 9 a.m. And that'll be our last call. And we will have a great conversation and I will answer questions. And if anybody wants to do coaching on the spot, we'll do some of that. We'll have a dance party. So be on time, come to the Zoom room if you can. And if you have any questions about what's next or how to stay in this, you can reach out to my team at hello@cathyheller.com. You can reach out to Barb or Jen or Sonnet. And it's going to be at 9 a.m. Pacific tomorrow morning. Everybody's invited to this Zoom room. As Guy or Jen, you can put the link to the Zoom room so people can be reminded of it. And by Friday, if you join the quilt, you get this great discount, which gives you waives the initiation fee and gives you 25% off. If you want to join Made to Do This, then you're basically going to get 6 months with me instead of 3 months, because you're going to get 3 months free of the quilt. And we're going to start dripping out the curriculum so you can start watching this. How do I find my thing? How do I figure this out? You're going to start watching it. You're going to start doing it. And then we're going to go even further into it after all the holidays in January. So you'll get another 3 months with me. So it's an amazing deal to have an extra 3 months of this energy if that's what you want. And if you want to do that, you can go to cathyheller.com/made to do this. But I think that it would be such a crime against humanity for you to not be showing up, feeling this energy inside of you and what it's capable of every single day. And I want to show you, this is just the beginning. Like, you're just starting to feel it, right? But now you're actually going to start to build on that, and the water is going to boil, and you're going to see what you can cook when this isn't just like an idea, but it actually is who you are. So we won't be even talking about Made to Do This anymore after next week. In January, we might do another push for it. But we're not even sure yet about that. So that's the truth. So I loved this call. Thank you for being here. Thank you for adding to this. And I'll see you guys tomorrow at 9 a.m.